to Agoracom Small Cap Breaking News, your daily go-to source for the best small cap headlines for over 65 million investors since 2007. We're jumping right in today with a rapid-fire rundown, some potentially big news moving across the small cap world.
Yeah, it's a fast-moving space, this small cap sector. Lots of noise.
Exactly. And, the potential for significant opportunities is there, but you have to cut through that noise. So our mission today, zero in on the actual results, financial, operational, the stuff that really warrants your attention as an investor.
We're looking at the hard data points, the numbers, the drill results, things that could signal real change.
We've got several companies lined up. These are developing stories, could have substantial impacts. Let's get straight into it.
The pace here is just relentless. Sifting through it all is, well, it's a challenge.
So consider this your first pass, your initial analysis. We're pulling out the headlines and the numbers behind them.
Trying to spot those genuine opportunities for you.
Okay, first up, breaking news from PyroGenesis Inc. That's TSXPYR. The headline reads, PyroGenesis maintains strategic momentum despite seasonal slowdown in Q1.
Right. Q1 is typically their slower period, historically. But there are a couple of numbers here that definitely jump out.
Yeah, revenue was $3 million for the quarter. But like you said, the real story might be that gross margin, up to 27%.
Exactly. That's a 24% improvement from last year. A big jump.
Yeah.
Suggests they're getting much more efficient.
Definitely. And that's happening alongside a pretty robust $52 million contract backlog.
And crucially, 88% of that is in U.S. dollars. That adds a layer of stability.
Good point. We're also seeing things moving across their different divisions.
Yeah, what caught my eye was the $2.5 million contract for pyro green gas. It's with a major global waste energy player for flaring systems at a U.S. RNG facility. That's a solid win.
And progress with Norsk Hydro continues, right? On the plasma torch.
Yes, and also that strategic collaboration with GE Vernova. They're targeting decarbonization for these huge multi-megawatt furnaces. That's a big potential market.
Plus, on the materials side, Boeing confirmed PyroGenesis met their technical qualifications for titanium powders.
That's huge. Aerospace qualifications are tough, opens a major door.
And they produced their first commercial quality batch of fumed silica, too. Eco-friendly process, samples out to potential partners now.
So yeah, despite that typical Q1 seasonal softness, you're seeing better margins, that strong backlog, mostly USD.
And real progress on the innovation front. Boeing, the fumed silica.
Exactly. Execution seems to be improving. Definitely things for investors to watch with PYR.
Okay, let's move on. Next up is Titan Mining Corporation, that's TSX-TI, and OTCQB TIMCF.
Yeah.
Headline here is pretty strong. Titan Mining reports strong Q1 2025, revenue jumps 37%, costs fall, and exploration expands.
That's the kind of headline investors like to see, isn't it? A powerful combo.
For sure. That 37% year-over-year revenue increase up to $16.02 million, that's significant, shows demand.
And digging a bit deeper, their operational cash flow. Wow. It jumped almost tenfold. Over $2.7 million now.
Tenfold. Okay, that speaks volumes about their financial health improving.
It really does. And they're managing costs too.
Right. The all-in sustaining costs, the AISC, down 4% to 96 cents per pound of zinc.
So earning more, keeping more of it. That's the goal.
But what about the exploration side? The headline mentions expansion.
Yeah, this is potentially very exciting. A drill result from their mud pond zone. 11.6 feet, grading 13.7% zinc. That's high grade.
And the location.
That's the keep it. It's significantly downplunged from the current resource. Deeper, further along the structure. It suggests, there could be a lot more zinc down there than they currently have booked. Major expansion potential.
A high-grade hit like that in a step-out area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be a real game changer for a miner's future.
And they're not just zinc either. They're advancing the Kilburn graphite project, aiming for 1,200 tons of graphite concentrate per year from the pilot plant.
Diversifying into graphite, another critical mineral, adds another layer.
So with Titan, you've got higher revenue, way better cash flow, lower costs, and these promising exploration results suggesting resource growth, plus the graphite angle.
Seems like, as you said, firing on multiple cylinders. Strong indicators there for TI.
Definitely worth a closer look.
All right, next breaking story. First Atlantic Nickel, that's FAN on the TSX Venture. Headline. First Atlantic Nickel extends RPM zone by 400 meters, signaling major growth potential. Nickel, critical mineral, lots of interest.
Absolutely. And this drill result is pretty eye-catching. Hole AN 2405 hit 396 meters, grading 0.23% nickel and 0.29% chromium.
396 meters. This is a very long intercept.
It really is, and it confirms this near-surface nickel zone, the RPM zone, has a significant footprint. They're estimating it now at about 400 by 500 meters.
And the mineralization type is interesting too, right? They mention visible wear rate.
Yes, visible awearite throughout that whole core with large grain sizes noted. And that's potentially a big deal because awearite is a natural nickel-iron alloy, meaning it might be processable using simpler, maybe greener methods like magnetic separation, potentially avoiding costly, energy-intensive smelting. That's the hope anyway.
Interesting. A cleaner nickel source. The market would like that.
Definitely. And adding to the potential, all 4 of their phase 1 holes ended in nickel-bearing rock.
So the mineralization is still open.
Seems like it. Open in all directions, potentially deeper too, which is exactly what their phase 2 drill program is designed to test right now.
So the takeaway here, it's not just the size, maybe 400 by 500 meters near surface, but the type of nickel.
Exactly. If it proves economic, it could be a more sustainable nickel source, crucial for EVs, for batteries.
Aligns with that whole ESG focus.
For sure. So for investors in early stage exploration, a large near surface zone with this potential processing advantage, that's a compelling signal from FAN. Phase 2 results will be key.
Okay, shifting to gold now. News from Harfang Exploration Inc. TSX Venture symbol, HAR. Headline: Harfang Exploration unveils high-grade gold discovery in Ontario's Pickle Lake district. Pickle Lake, that's a known area, right?
Oh yeah, very well-established, historically productive gold region in Ontario. So finding something new there is exciting.
And the result?
A strong start. The highlight intercept was 7.0 grams per ton, gold over 18.0 meters.
That's a good width.
It is. And it included an even higher grade core, 10.3 grams per ton over 8.2 meters, all from their Skylake project.
7 grams over 18 meters. Those are solid numbers, especially for an early discovery.
And importantly, it's shallow. This new zone is just 40 meters below surface.
40 meters, that's very near surface.
Right, and it's within a shear zone they think is about 1 kilometer long. So potential for scale there, too.
Any other results supporting this?
Yes, they reported results from 3 holes, and all 3 hit gold-bearing structures and the alteration you look for. Another hit was 2.0 grams per ton gold over 13.4 meters.
So multiple hits, shallow depth, good grades, known district.
Exactly. All the ingredients you like to see in an early-stage gold discovery, it suggests they might be onto something significant.
And Harfang has cash to follow up.
Yeah, they mentioned about $3 million in the treasury, so they're funded to keep drilling this to define it further.
Okay, so for gold exploration watchers, HAR is putting out some compelling early results. High grade, near surface, good jurisdiction.
Definitely one to watch. Those follow-up drill results will be crucial for understanding the size and continuity.
All right, next headline takes us further afield to Mongolia. Entree Resources, ETG on the TSX. The news. Entree Resources reports major copper-gold intercepts at Hugo North Extension in Mongolia. This is part of the giant Oyu Tolgoi project.
Giant is the right word. Oyu Tolgoi is one of the world's largest copper-gold deposits. And these intercepts from the Hugo North Extension, where Entree has an interest, are, well, they're pretty spectacular.
Give us the numbers.
Okay, surface hole EGD 189B hit 552 meters.
552 meters.
Yep. Grading 3.11% copper equivalent. And within that, there was a section of 260 meters grading an incredible 4.45% copper equivalent.
Wow. Those are world-class grades over massive widths, and that's in the potential lift 2 block cave zone.
Correct. And it wasn't an isolated hit. They also reported strong underground drilling, like hole UGD 876, with 169.3 meters at 3.21% copper equivalent.
So, consistently high grades. What's Entree's angle here?
They have a carried joint venture interest in this part of Oyu Tolgoi. Carried is the key word.
Meaning they benefit without funding all the massive development costs.
Essentially, yes. They get exposure to this Tier 1 asset's upside. And Oyu Tolgoi is expected to become the world's 4th largest copper mine.
And they mentioned some holes ended in mineralization.
They did. Several holes bottomed in strong mineralization, which suggests this high-grade zone might still be open, not fully drilled off yet. Potential for even more resource growth for ETG's interest.
Okay, so Entree Resources offers exposure to these incredible grades at Hugo North within a world-class project and potentially still growing.
Precisely. The value of that carried interest is underpinned by results like these. Investors will be watching Oyu Tolgoi's ramp up very closely.
All right, one final headline for today, Zephyro Methane Core.
Zephyro Methane Core, they trade on the CBOE Canada under ZEFI.
Methane Abatement, Environmental Remediation.
That's them.
Zephyro Methane Core announces quarterly earnings with revenue of USD $6.9 million. focused on methane mitigation.
Right. Now, the year-over-year revenue was down, we should note that. But the key financial point this quarter seems to be the gross profit.
What about it?
It increased significantly, 73.7% compared to the previous quarter. That suggests a strong improvement in profitability per dollar of revenue, a return to growth perhaps on the margin side.
Okay, better profitability. And what are they doing operationally?
They're expanding strategically, focusing on well plugging services in key U.S. states, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma.
Going where the methane is, basically. Targeting orphaned and abandoned wells.
Seems like it. Capitalizing on that growing need for methane abatement and proper well decommissioning. It's a growing regulatory push, too.
And looking beyond the plugging services.
Two other interesting points. They're making progress, certifying their first batch of carbon offsets with the ACR Carbon Registry.
Carbon credits, that could be a whole other revenue stream down the line, right?
Exactly. If that market continues to develop, verified high-quality credits could be quite valuable. And second, they're implementing AI-driven data analytics.
AI for methane. How?
They project it could improve their methane capture efficiency by about 50%. Using data to optimize where and how they capture emissions shows a focus on tech and efficiency.
So Zafiro, top-line revenue faced headwinds, but gross profit jumped quarter over quarter. They're expanding geographically and well plugging, moving on carbon credits, and using AI to get better.
Yeah, that big jump in gross profit, the expansion, the carbon credits, it suggests Zafiro might be hitting a turning point, really starting to capitalize on this whole methane reduction trend. Zafiro is one to watch in that space.
Okay, that wraps up our rapid-fire look at some key small-cap headlines and results.
We covered quite a bit. Improved margins at PyroGenesis, strong revenue and exploration at Titan, that big nickel discovery for First Atlantic.
High-grade gold for Harfang, massive copper-gold intercepts related to Entree, and Zafiro's profit jump in strategic moves.
Yeah, lots of different developments. Cost reductions, contract backlogs, resource expansions, carbon credits. These are the kinds of concrete things investors look for.
Absolutely. These are potential signals, maybe inflection points or emerging opportunities for you to investigate further.
These headlines are just the starting point, though. They give you a snapshot.
Right. We always say this, but it's crucial. You need to dig deeper yourself. Look at the full financials, understand the context, do your own thorough research.
Each company has its own risks and potential rewards. Your due diligence is key.
In this fast-paced small-cap world, headlines like these suggest potential shifts, maybe turning points. But the deeper dive, as always, that's up to you.